Hallelujah.
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 Oh, great merciful Father, King everlasting, bringer about of the universe, Abiyah, Torah Rabbah. Thank you first and foremost for bringing us into another Shabbat. You've kept us throughout this week, Abiyah. Though we were tried, for every tribulation in our hearts, Abiyah. You kept us to this moment, Abiyah. We say Torah Rabbah. Thank you for every soul that is here, Abiyah. Those that are on the line as well, Abiyah. Thank you for every soul that is calling upon your name, Abiyah, today, forevermore, Abiyah, worshiping your most Kodesh name. Let the words that be spoken, Abiyah, today, let it be told in Kodesh for our ears, for our hearts, Abiyah, transforming our minds, continuously striving, gearing towards you, to seek your face, Abiyah. Say, Shlika, for any transgressions we have done against you, Abiyah, seen and unseen, Abiyah. Forgive us, Abiyah. Forgive our forefathers as well, Abiyah. For your mercy, for your kindness, we are still here. Every day is an opportunity, Abiyah, to turn and seek your face. So again, we praise you and we honor you, Abiyah. And we lift your name on high. In the character of your son, Yahushua HaMashiach, we praise you and we thank you. Walking in his footsteps, being that perfect example, what it truly means to love you. To the Elohim Abraham, Yitzchak and Yaakov, Baruch atah Yahuwah, Baruch Hashem Yahuwah, Baruch haba Hashem Yahuwah. Blessed are you, Yah. Blessed is your name, Yahuwah. Blessed is he who comes in the name of Yahuwah. The Mishpati will agree. We say hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
Now wherever you are. Unless you're gonna put yours on over there. The ordinances. I don't what you get.
Shalom. Shalom. Our first ordinance to come from Shemot, commonly called Exodus chapter 19, verses 1 through 8.
This day, I didn't really say.
Exodus chapter 19.
Exodus chapter 19, verses 1 through 8. And it reads, in the third month, when the children of Israel were going forth out of the land of Mitzrayim, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai, for they were departed from Rephidim and were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mount. And Moshe went up unto Yah, and Elohim called unto him out of the mountain, saying, thus shalt thou say to the house of Yaakov, and tell the children of Israel, ye have seen what I did unto the Mitzrayim, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a set apart nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. And Moshe came and called for the elders of the people, and laid before their faces all these words which Yah commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, all that Yah have spoken, we will do. And Moshe returned the words of the people unto Yah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Our next ordinance will come from Wa'ikra, commonly called Leviticus, chapter 26, verses 40 through 46. And it reads, if they shall confess the iniquity of their fathers, which with their trespass, which they trespassed against me, and that also they have walked contrary unto me, and that I also have walked contrary unto them, and have brought them into the land of their enemies, if then their uncircumcised hearts be humbled, and they then accept of the punishment of their iniquity, then will I remember my covenant with Yaakov, and also my covenant with Yitzchak, and also my covenant with Abraham will I remember, and I will remember the land. The land also shall be left with them, and shall enjoy her Sabbaths, while she lieth desolate without them. And they shall accept of the punishment of their iniquity, because even they despise my judgments, and because their soul abhorred my statutes. And yet for all that, when they be in the land of their enemies, I will not cast them away, neither will I abhor them, to destroy them utterly, and to break my covenant with them. For I am Yahuwah their mighty one. But I will for their sakes remember the covenant of their ancestors, whom I brought forth out of the land of Mitzrayim, in the sight of the nations, that I might be their El. I am Yahuwah. These are the statutes and judgments and laws which Yah made between him and the children of Israel in Mount Sinai by the hand of Moshe. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And our last ordinance will come from Ezekiel, commonly called Ezekiel, chapter 36, verses 22 through 28. And it reads, therefore, say unto the house of Israel, thus saith Adonai Yahuwah, I do not this for your sakes, O house of Israel, but for my set apart name's sake, which ye have profaned among the nations whither ye went. And I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the nations, which ye have profaned in the midst of them. And the nations shall know that I am Yahuwah, saith Yahuwah Adonai, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. For I will take you from among the nations, and gather you out of all countries, and will bring you into your own land. Then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, and ye shall be clean. From all your filthiness, and from all your idols will I cleanse you. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and will give you an heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit within you, and cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my judgments and do them. And ye shall dwell in the land that I gave to your fathers. And ye shall be my people, and I will be your El. Hallelujah.
I'll be reading Shemot, commonly called Exodus, chapter 20, starting from verse 1. Again, I'll be reading Shemot, commonly called Exodus, chapter 20, starting from verse 1. And it reads, and Elohim spoke all these words, saying, I am Yah, the Elohim, which has brought thee out of the land of Mitzrayim, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other Elohim before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, Yah, the Elohim, am a jealous Elohim, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of Yahuwah, thy Elohim, in vain. For Yahuwah will not hold him guiltless at taking his name in vain. Remember the Shabbat day to keep it set apart. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is the Shabbat day of Yah the Elohim. In it thou shalt not do any work. Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days Yah made the heaven, the earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore Yah blessed the Shabbat day and holiday. Honor thy father and thy mother, that the days may be long upon the land which Yah thy Elohim giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his donkey, nor anything that is their neighbor's. Oh yeah.
Hallelujah. Shema Yisrael. Yahuwah RL. Sakali. Yahuwah Eloheinu. Yahuwah Echad. Hear and obey Yisrael. Yahuwah RL. Yahuwah is one. Wayahata et Yahuwah Elheka. Bekal Lebabka. Ubakal Nefeshka. Ubakal Meodika. And you should obey Yahuwah. You should love Yahuwah your Elohim with all of your heart, all of your soul, and all of thy might. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Now we're going to our Hallelujah portion, preceded by my Hallelujah belongs to you. My Hallelujah belongs to you. My Hallelujah belongs to you. My Hallelujah. My Hallelujah belongs to you. Hallelujah. My Hallelujah belongs to you. And you deserve? You deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve it. My hallelujah. My hallelujah belongs to you. My hallelujah. My hallelujah belongs to you. My hallelujah. Come on. My hallelujah belongs to you. My hallelujah. My hallelujah belongs to you. Hallelujah. Okay. Do we have any hallelujahs? Anyone who wants to give praise to their creator? Anything that he has shown or revealed to you to reveal to others, or any way that you would want to express yourself, now is the time to do so. Hallelujah. Anyone here with the hallelujah?
Yes.
Okay, you got. I'm sure you're gonna have to speak up, but
Hello, Yah. Toda Yah for all his grace and mercy that he has given us, for his protection, for just life within itself. Well, Yah.
hallelujah. Hallelujah.
I got him. Shabbat Shalom. I just want to give praise to the Most High for life. I also want to give him praises for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Recently, I was thinking about, what it means to sacrifice things for the Most High. And I was thinking about, sacrificing more of my time, more of myself to the Most High. Things that I sacrifice, those things are not necessarily bad things, but, it's I always have to keep in mind that, the work that I do on this earth for the Most High, I'm definitely going to benefit from it. If I continue to do it. So that work that I do is not in vain, but, I have to embed that in my mind, sacrifice more of my time, more of myself to the Most High.
Hey, hallelujah. Hallelujah. And sacrifices. Gosh, you got a hallelujah? Oh, you had your hand up. Anyone online with the hallelujah? Or okay.
Quick song.
Like a sing?
Look, I was gonna read, but
A song.
Oh, you have to speak up too, though.
okay. Oh, no, step up. Okay, Shabbat Shalom, family.
Shalom.
Lately I've been kind of meditating on Psalms, just kind of gleaning from that. Of course, with everything that's been going on out in the world and our lives, just always trying to seek refuge in the Most High. That's really the name of the game that Psalm kind of presents to myself. So I present to the family, this is Tehillim, coming called Psalms 15, starting from the top. Yahuwah, who does sojourn in your tent? Who does dwell in your set apart mountain? He who walks blamelessly and does righteous and speaks the truth in his heart. He has not slandered with his tongue. He has not done evil in his neighborhood, nor lift up a reproach against his friend. In which an eye reproach, one is despised, but he esteems those who fear Yahuwah. He who swears to his own hurt and does not change. He has not put out his silver at interest, and has not taken a bribe against an innocent. He who does these is never moved. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
That was definitely one that I read this morning. I was like, that's pretty interesting. The last part about it all is that you're just not moved. So I say to the family, stay vigilant, stay steadfast, and not. That's one of the pillars to this walk, is to stay vigilant. Everything else after that, it just falls in line and place. So, hallelujah.
Hallelujah. It says he shall not be moved. That word is to be shaken, to be overthrown. We have two hands up. A coat Anastasia, and then G, I got you.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
Giving honor to the Most High, who is our strength. I just like to thank him today because I feel like he's giving me vision and understanding in a lot of situations. Lately, he's been speaking to my spirit a lot lately, and it's been confirmed like from a whole bunch of different sources. So it's been enlightening, and I definitely appreciate that.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Glad to hear that you listened, Abigail. G.
Shabbat Shalom, fam.
Shabbat Shalom, Akeem.
Just want to, give praise to the Creator for, another day. Hope everybody wakes up.
Are you a little muffled out?
What about now? Is that better?
Okay.
And just giving us that spirit to focus when we can be doing better. Because I like to follow up what Shah Shamar said when he said sacrifice that time. I notice I can get caught up, when in life, family, and all of that, and not make time for the Most High. So, I just want to give him praises for giving us that spirit to notice when we getting off track, or we can do better.
Hallelujah. Yeah, that's the goal. The goal is to improve, no matter how slow it may be. The goal is to improve. Nobody wants to be Russell Westbrook. Sorry. Russell Westbrook is somebody who can never shoot. He's never tried to practice shooting, so he still can't shoot. And he's reaping the benefits of him not practicing now. I'd rather be honest. But anybody else with a hallelujah? Okay.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I just want to give praise to the Most High for another day, to be able to see daylight, and obviously for water, shelter, warmth. One thing I've been studying lately is how can I understand the Most High? And I'm gonna read a scripture from Jeremiah 9:24, and it says.
So Jeremiah 9:24.
Yeah, Jeremiah 9:24.
Go ahead.
It says, "But let him that boast in this, that he understands and knows me, that I am Yahuwah, which exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, says Yahuwah.
You said 9 and 24?
Cain.
Oh, okay. All right. Wrong version for me. Go.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. So when I read that, understand the Most High is trying to understand the Most High is understanding that He exercises loving kindness and judgment and righteousness, and He delights in these things. And another scripture I wanted to read was Jeremiah 29:11. Jeremiah 29:11, and it reads, "For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, says Yah, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end." And I just started thinking about His thoughts of peace towards us, and some of the words I got is protection, covering, deliverance, prospering, no fear, no doubt, victory, and freedom. So I've just been studying how can I understand the Most High, and understanding that His thoughts of peace towards us are not evil, and that He has an expected end for us. That's just something I've been just trying to focus on. That He loves us, and He wants us to communicate with Him. So I just want to give hallelujah to Him, kind of revealing that to me, just kind of like putting me on a path to want to understand Him more. That's all.
Can you read verse 25 of that?
Verse 25, Jeremiah 29.
Okay. Can you read from matter of fact, can you start at verse 23 and then go through the end of the chapter for me out? But you probably got to speak up so they can hear you.
23?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Jeremiah 29, verse 23. Because they have committed villainy in Yasharel and have broken wedlock with their neighbor's woman.
Chapter 9.
Oh, chapter 9.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
No, you good. Verse 23 until the end.
Jeremiah 9, verse 23. Thus says Yahuwah, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the rich man glory in his riches, but let him that glories in this, that he understands and knows me, that I am Yahuwah, which exercise loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, says Yahuwah. Behold, the days come, says Yahuwah, that I will punish all them, which are circumcised with the uncircumcised. Mitzrayim and Yehuda and Edom, and the children of Ammon and Moab, and all that are in the utmost ends, who dwell in the wilderness. For all these nations are uncircumcised, and all the house of Yasharel are uncircumcised in the heart. Hallelujah. Yeah, that was deep.
And he said, let not, so he didn't say that let not the wise man glory in his wisdom because he's not wise. He just said that's an aspect of you that doesn't matter. Not that the rich man isn't rich, but that's just an aspect of you that doesn't matter. But glory in the fact that you know the creator, right? But the glory, because that's the main part, is that do you know your creator? Everything else can be wiped away or added to you, but do you know your creator, right? And then the main part, when he read that, I kept reading. He said, behold, the days come when I will punish those who are circumcised with the uncircumcised. So a lot of Yisrael glory, right? Speaking of glory, today we glory in the fact that we are Yisrael. But we are not to glory in the fact that we are Yisrael. Because as he continued, he said, Yisrael is the circumcised, right, that he's going to judge. But the uncircumcised are all the other nations. But Yisrael is uncircumcised in the heart. And there's a passage in Ezekiel that says that you have brought uncircumcised strangers into my house. But thus saith the Most High, the day will come where there will be where you cannot bring anybody into the house of Yah who's uncircumcised in their flesh or uncircumcised in their heart. So if you are not circumcised twice, right, for men, for once for the women, but if you are not circumcised in the heart, nothing else matters. Which is why Paul was saying what he was saying in the Brit Kadashah, which people, take out of context. But he got that from here. Okay. But turn on about for that. Yeah, go ahead. Okay.
I wanted to read also Isaiah 43:2.
Hold on, okay. Let me get.
Isaiah 43:2. When you pass through the waters,
Hold on. You gotta pull that back to verse 1. Let's go ahead, pull that back to verse 1.
I'm looking at it too. I see.
Yeah. Gotta pull that back.
Oh, man. Isaiah 43:1. But now thus says Yahuwah that created you, O Yaakov, and he that formed you, O Yasharel, fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by your name. You are mine. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And through the rivers, they shall not overflow you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned. Neither shall the flame kindle upon you. So another part of understanding him is understanding that when he obviously, well, a part of understanding him is understanding that when we pass through the waters, that he's going to be with us, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow us. So this is just something, honestly and truthfully, that I've been taking really personally, trying to understand him, understand that he is our ultimate protection. And throughout the text, he reminds us how much times that we are his. Constantly, he reminds us. He's always reminding us that we are his and that he's always with us. And a lot of us have still to this day take that for granted. So this is something that's been on my plate for the last week. So
hold on. So he said, verse 2 says, you will not pass through the waters. Right?
When you pass through the waters.
You will not pass through the waters. Oh, when you pass through the waters. Oh, he said, you will not walk through fire. Most times say, you don't have to worry about fire no more. You don't got to worry about water no more. You don't got to worry about the flames no more. Oh, you don't got to worry about nobody shooting at you no more with arrows. He didn't say that?
No.
Oh, he said that, when you go through the waters, they will not overtake you. Water meaning chaos. So when you go through chaos, the chaos will not overtake you. Going back to what Adon said earlier about he who does these things shall not be moved. They shall not be overthrown. So you go through the waters, but the water doesn't faze you. For those who grew up around water, or went to the beach and you playing with the waves and the game is not to get tossed over by the waves. So for me, I was running in the waves trying to, act as if they can't knock me over. Anyway, that's the thought. Most High said that when you're in the fire, you're not going to be burnt. He didn't say you're not going to go through fire. Fire meaning purification. He didn't say you're not going to go through the purification process. He just said, chill out, I got you. Yisrael, especially, those on the Messianic side, but Yisrael as a whole, we think that we are exempt from the process of maturation. We are exempt from the process of having to go through levels of life. That's impossible. How can he know you? To know is to be intimate. So that means through the water, he's close to you. How can he be intimately with you through these things if he doesn't put you through these things? That's why I said, read number 1. He said, I created you, I formed you, I redeemed you, and I called you out by your name. So not only did I create you, right? I singled you out. I brought you to myself. I did all of this for you. So why would the creator go through all of this for those who are seeking him, main point, for those who are seeking him, and then allow you to be destroyed by anything. Let's go to Yeshaya 54. This is all out of Rome's fault. Yeshaya 54. Go ahead, Akeem.
Okay, that's just interesting. I guess the question would be, I guess the why, and this is just my personal opinion because I had a conversation about this yesterday, and the why for me, would be before you get there, it'd be Deuteronomy, Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse. I'm gonna start at verse 3, but really it's the whole thing. No, I can't do that. I gotta start from the top. Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 1. Says, guard to do every command which I command today, that you might live, and shall increase, and go in, and shall possess the land which Yahuwah swore to your fathers. And you shall remember that Yahuwah your Elohim led you all the way these 40 years in the wilderness to humble you, prove you, to know what is in your heart, whether you guard his commandments or not. Verse 3. And he humbled you and let you suffer hunger and fed you with manna, which you did not know, nor did your fathers know, to make you know that every man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes forth from the mouth of Yahuwah.
Okay.
So that's my personal reason for all the enduring, for everything, to prove us in what he is saying. It transcends our natural thought, our natural concept, to understand that even with the manna, they didn't even know what it was. But it's just that relying on the Creator in all things. That's really the essence of it all. To truly put your faith and trust, interesting. Truly put your faith and trust in the Creator, and that will exponentially expound you.
Okay. Faith and trust, right? So let's go to Yeshaya or Isaiah 54, verse 13. I know I said 17, but we got to back it up a little bit.
Isaiah 54 again?
Yes, sir. Yeshaya 54, start at verse 13. And it reads, and all your children shall be taught of Yah. And great shall be the peace of your children. That in itself is great. We'll talk about that later. 14. And righteousness shall you be established. One more time. In righteousness shall you be established. You shall be far from oppression, for you shall not fear, and from terror, for it shall not come near you. Behold, they shall surely gather together, but not by me. What does that mean? What does that mean? Behold, they shall surely gather together, but not by me. Somebody talk to me, please.
It kind of sounds like the blessings of Deuteronomy 28, and also thinks about, if you don't have children, you definitely should be established in the Most High, before you have children.
Okay.
Can you say that one more time?
It says, behold, they shall surely gather together, but not by me.
What I got from that is nowadays people come together, but not for Yah. People do a lot of gatherings and to have fun and do other things, but not praise Yah. That's what I kind of got from that.
Which is true. Definitely true. Abigail.
Mine read, if anyone does attack you, it will not be my doing.
Okay.
So I
get.
get.
Oh, go ahead.
I get like sometimes we think that it's the Most High who is always doing the attacking, but I mean, we have other things that we are fighting against. You know what I'm saying? Other things that are fighting against us from getting us to where we need to be.
Okay. it said in this version, right, in the JPS, Shabbat Shalom, Ba'it Shel Azar Yahu. So in the JPS version, that verse reads, surely no harm can be done without my consent. Whoever would harm you shall fall because of you. Uh-huh.
It says, see, they shall indeed assemble against you, but not because of me. Whosoever shall assemble against you will fall for your sake.
Okay. So it's saying that surely they shall gather again. There's no way that they're not going to try to come after you, but they're not coming after you because I sent them. So because I did not send them, exactly, send them, they shall fail in what they were trying to accomplish. Whoever shall go up against you, they shall fall because of you. Why? Because you are established in righteousness. Let's keep going. Verse 16, behold, I have created the smith that blows the coals in the fire, and that brings forth an instrument for his work, and I have created the waster to destroy. No weapon that is formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against you in judgment you shall condemn. This is the inheritance, this is the heritage of the servants of Yah, and their righteousness is of me, saith Yahuwah. So a couple things in this particular passage, right, is one, you are established by your righteousness. So bar none, your actions or your deeds or your servitude to the Creator is what puts everything else on hold. All the attacks of the enemy, the fire, the water, everything else that is supposed to attack you, it will not prosper because of how you act toward your Creator, your righteousness in the sight of your Creator. That's why they can't stop you. They may even try to delay you, right? The waters, once again, I'm running up against the waters. You can't get as far as you want to when the waters are coming, as fast as you want to, but you can make it because they won't overthrow you. Because they weren't sent by the Creator to overthrow you, right? Which, I know this is odd, but takes me back to the quote unquote Malak that fought with Yaakov. That Malak or that messenger or that angel could not overtake Jacob. Even with messing up the sinew and the thigh and all of that, he could not overtake our forefather because the Creator did not send him. They came, but they weren't sent by the Creator. Because which Malak you know loses? That's sent by the Creator against a human. None. So if we have the power to overcome Malakim, right, or messengers or angels, if we have that power to overcome them, who are we to falter or to fake when man comes against us? That means you really aren't in this. You playing. Anyway, this has nothing to do with the lesson. Does anybody else have any hallelujahs? Or you got something I can?
Just a thought. I know we was going to hallelujah.
That was just the hallelujah.
Deep. I love it. It's interesting you said that the Malak did not overtake Yaakov. Try not to get too deep on that one, man, because it's like all of the Malakim that came in the Creator's name, there wasn't even a fight. It was immediate. It was immediate face to the ground. Immediate. Oh man. I look at even starting with our earliest patriarch in Abraham. Go to Yosef. You go to Moshe. It was immediate. They prostrated themselves because they knew and they see the esteem exuding from these entities that are before them, understanding that they came from Yah. in the name of Yah.
Dang. Dang.
That's deep. I like it. I like it.
If we can overcome those, we can overcome all that comes against us. For if Yah is for us, who can be against us, right? That's what it said. So say hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Anybody else with hallelujahs? Okay. Nobody else with hallelujah? Oh, that way you got hallelujah?
Hallelujah.
Okay, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Okay. So if that's the case, we're gonna go ahead and send praises up to the Creator, and then we'll get into more of the word. Sorry. Let us stand for the praise the Creator. No, you can get them. I don't know if we're gonna need them. Oh, you talking about that over here?
Right up in the thing. Moreh, you want to sing right up in the thing.
Nah, secret. Do you want I don't need this per se, but hallelujah! Hallelujah!
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah!
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah! Hey, so that yeah. Keep us in your hand and under your wing. Keep us in your hand and under your wing. Keep us in your hands and under your wing. There is no savior but Yahuwah Elohim. Keep us in your hand, and under your wings. Keep us in your hands, oh Yah. Keep us in your hands, and under your wings. Keep us in your hands, and under your wings. But there is no savior but Yahuwah Elohim. You see me? Redeem me, you free me out of the dark. You clean me, you feed me, you see me as yourself. I was lost, now I'm found. I was dead, now I live. When I fall, and you call, my response is, keep us in your hand and under your wing. Keep us in your hands and under your wing. Come on, keep us in your hands and under your wing. For there is no savior. Come on. There is no savior but Yahuwah Elohim. One more time, keep us, say loud. Keep us in your hand and under your wing. Keep us in your hand and under your wing. Keep us in your hand and under your wing. For there is no savior but Yahuwah Elohim. For there is no savior, come on. There is no savior but Yahuwah Elohim. One more time, there is no savior but Yahuwah Elohim. Hallelujah. 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 You printed it out? Okay. All right. Well, what you want to say? What we say? What we say? Since printed it out. I ain't saying that now.
Extra credit for that.
I'm gonna say it later. All right, because he got. Yah is excellent.
There you go.
Yah is excellent. Come on, Yah is excellent. And worthy of, and worthy of all praise. Yah is excellent. Come on, Yah is excellent. Yah is excellent. And worthy of all praise. Elohim, by whom I live with all the strength you give. I will worship you all my days. Come on, Elohim, by whom I live with all the strength you give. I will worship you all my days. Why is that? Because Yah is excellent. Yah is excellent. Yah is excellent. And worthy of all praise. Yah is excellent. Yeah, hallelujah. Yah is excellent. Yah is excellent. And worthy of all praise. Elohim, by whom I live with all the strength that you give. I will worship you all my days. Because Yah is excellent. Come on. Yah is excellent. Yah is excellent. And worthy of all praise. One more time. Yah is excellent. Yah is excellent. Excellent. Worthy of all praise. Hallelujah. Toda. Another song. You ready?
Yeah, you are good and your mercy endureth forever.
Yeah, you are good and your mercy endureth forever. Yeah, come on. Yeah, you are good and your mercy endureth forever. Yeah, you are.
Yeah, you are good and your mercy endureth forever.
People from every nation and tongue. People from every nation and tongue. From generation to generation. We worship you. We worship, come on. We worship you. Hallelujah. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. Come on.
Yeah, you are good and your mercy endureth forever.
One more time. Yeah, you are good. Come on. Yeah, you are good and your mercy endureth forever. People from every nation and tongue. People from every nation and tongue. From generation to generation. We worship. We worship you. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. We worship you for who you are. We worship. We worship. We worship you. Hallelujah, hallelujah, we worship you for who you are. Well, you are good. You are good all the time, and all the time. You are. You are good. You are good. You are good all the time, and all the time. You are, yeah. You are good. Come on, you are good. You are good all the time, and all the time. You are good. Come on, come on. You are good. Come on. All the time. You are good. That's why people from every nation. People from every nation and tongue. Hallelujah. From generation to generation. We worship you. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. We worship you for who you are. We worship, come on. We worship you. Hallelujah. 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 We worship you for who you are. Last time, you are good. You are good. Hallelujah. 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 Oh, give thanks unto Yahweh, for he is, for he is, come on, oh, give thanks unto Yahweh, for he is, for he is, for he is worthy, for he is worthy, for he is so, yes, for he is worthy. For he is so, yes, he is. Come on, oh, give what? Oh, give thanks unto Yahweh, for he is so, yes, he is so. Oh, give thanks unto Yahweh, for he is so, for he is worthy, for he is for he is so, yes, for he is what? For he is worthy, for he is so, yes, he is so. Oh, give, come on. Oh, give thanks unto Yahweh, for he is so, yes, he is so. Oh, give thanks unto Yahweh, for he is so, for he is worthy, for he is worthy, for he is so, yes, for he is what? For he is worthy, for he is so, yes, he is so. Who do love you up? Who do love you up? Can't keep talk. Can't keep talk. Can't keep talk. Who do love you up? Who do love you up? Can't keep talk. Can't keep talk. Can't keep talk. Keep who roll we keep who roll we roll Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Abigail.
Yeah, y'all know I can't sing, so I'm gonna just start it off. Oh, my
is told. Oh, my eye is told. What evil is? When evil's all around me, I know that He will guide me. Oh, my eye is told. Oh, my eye is told. Oh, my eye is told. What evil? Come on. When evil's all around me, I know that He will guide me. Oh, my eye is told. One more time. Come on. Oh, my eye is told. Uh-huh. Oh, my eye is told. What evil? Come on. When evil's all around me, I know that He will guide me. Oh, my eye is told. Last time, come on. Oh, my eye is told. Oh, my eye is told. When evil's all around me, I know that He will guide me. Oh, my eye is told. Hallelujah. 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 Told out no stuff in the Borex.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
You like that? Something's wrong with you.
I hope Ariel can keep up.
The Devorettes.
Oh, yeah, hey, that's crazy.
Look at a shirt, Devorettes.
Ariel, it's on you. In the spirit of your word, comes the
Drums. Yes, drums.
When the spirit of your word comes upon my
God, you.
I will dance like David.
Yes, drums.
I will dance. I will dance. I will dance like David. I will dance. I will dance. I will dance like David.
Yes, drums.
When the spirit of your word comes upon my
Yes, drums.
I will dance like David. When the spirit of your word comes upon my I will dance like David. I will dance. I will dance. I will dance. I will dance like
And let's exalt his name together.
And as we enter into the house of Yahweh, we say praises, praises to Yahweh. Say hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. We say praises to Yahweh, hallelujah, hallelujah, praises to Yahweh. Come magnify Yahweh with me. Let's exalt his name together. And as we what? And as we enter into the house of Yahweh, we sing praises, praises to Yahweh. Well, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Praises to Yahweh, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. We say praises to Yahweh. One more time, come magnify Yahweh with me. Let us exalt his name. Let us exalt his name together. And as we enter into the house of Yahweh, we say praises, praises to Yahweh. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Praises to Yahweh. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Praises to Yahweh. Praises, praises to Yahweh. Praises, come on. Praises to Yahweh.
Huh. The Moreh ain't playing.
Yeah, the Moreh, it's crazy. A song called I Need You. You said you put that on. Crazy. I need you. You're the one I need. Hey, you're the one I'm asking for. When I am on my knees and I can't take it anymore. I need you. You're the one I need. And you're the one I'm asking for. When I am on my knees and I can't take it anymore. I need you. But life ain't going well. And this war seems just so hard. When everything I attempt fails and I can't find my way out the door. I find myself on the ground with tears flowing from my eyes. Face down as I scream your name, saying in between my cries, I need you, you're the one I need, and you're the one I'm asking for. When I am on my knees, and I can't take it anymore. I need you. You're the one I need. And you're the one I'm asking for. You're the one I'm asking for. When I am on my knees. And I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. I need you. I need you. In my heart and in my mind. At times of the sorrow and pain. I draw to you, then you to me. You've been a shelter through all of the rain. My anchor, my provider. When I am weak, you're my fighter. So until time is surrender, you're my salvation. I need you. Hey, you're the one I need. And you're the one I'm asking for. And you're the one I'm asking for. When I am on my knees. And I can't take it anymore. I need you. You're the one. You're the one I need. Hey, you're the one I'm asking for. When I am on my knees.
When I am on my knees.
And I can't take it.
And I can't take it anymore.
I need the times that I needed you, Yahweh. You've always brought me through. So I vow never to leave your side. And then I feel I can't go on. And you are made strong. You're the one I need. And you're the one I'm asking for. When I am on my knees.
When I am on my knees.
And I can't
take it anymore.
Come on, say.
I need you.
You're the one.
You're the one I need.
And you're the one I'm asking for.
You're the one I'm asking for.
When I am on my knees.
When I am on my knees.
And I can't
take it anymore.
I need you.
I need you.
Hallelujah. 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 Yeah, I see it.
What you say?
I need you.
Well,
And you put it in the post.
as long as it's okay, I see all over here. Okay, y'all just throwing stuff in. Oh, that's beautiful though. I like.
Missing one by
Oh.
No, yeah, he over there.
Yeah, you over there.
Wait, deepest voice in the movie.
Why y'all not in the tenor section? Y'all know the choir goes tenor, soprano, alto. Why y'all not in the tenor? Anyway, hallelujah. Does anybody else have any songs? As long as Anastasia don't continue raising her hand, I think we can sit down. Okay. If that's the case, then we can sit down.
Nice. All right. Shabbat. Yeah. I need
Oh, somebody messed with this and closed it. Yeah. Somebody closed it. It's all good. Okay, hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right, so waiting on Ooze to come over here.
You gotta get him a chair. Yeah, right over there. Hold on.
Transition. Okay. For the wallets, I didn't see those earlier. I didn't. Yeah, nah, I didn't have them see. How you get an aloe drink? Hey, time out. Time out. I'm sorry, y'all. Pause. How does man get an aloe vera drink? Can I get aloe vera drink, please?
More need an aloe vera.
You need a what?
He needs an aloe vera.
Yeah, can I get one of those? I'm not covering because I don't want that one, but I want one just like it. That's crazy. That's crazy. This man come over here. He eat lamb. He get aloe vera. Anyway, it's not important. All right. Let us go to the book of. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy. Devarim, commonly called Deuteronomy, chapter 6. Go to Deuteronomy chapter 6. We starting. You can start from the top and go all the way to all the way to 9. Akeem.
Devarim, commonly called Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verses 1 through 9. Now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments which Yahweh your Elohim commanded to teach you, that ye may do them in the land whither ye go to possess it, that thou mightest fear Yahuwah thy El, to keep all his statutes and his commandments which I command thee, thou and thy son and thy son's son, all the days of thy life, and that thy days may be prolonged. Hear therefore, O Israel, and observe to do it, that it may be well with thee, and that ye may increase mightily, as you, Yahweh Adonai of thy fathers have promised thee, in the land that floweth with milk and honey. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh, our El is one, and thou shalt love Yahweh thy El with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt take of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. Verse 8, and thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thine hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes. And thou shalt write them upon thy posts of thy house and on thy gates. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Can we go to the book of Wayikra, commonly called Leviticus chapter 19? Wayikra, commonly called Leviticus chapter 19. And we're going to start at verse 9 and we're going to go to 18.
Wayikra, commonly called Leviticus chapter 19, starting at verse 9. And when ye reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not wholly reap the corners of thy field, neither shalt thou gather the gleanings of thy harvest. And thou shalt not glean thy vineyard, neither shalt thou gather every grape of thy vineyard. Thou shalt leave them for the poor and stranger. I am Yahweh, your mighty one. Ye shall not steal, neither deal falsely, neither lie one to another. And ye shall not swear by my name falsely, neither shalt thou profane the name of Yah. I am Yahweh. Thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning. Thou shalt not curse the deaf, nor put a stumbling block before the blind, but shalt fear thy El. I am Yahweh. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. Ye shall not respect the persons of the poor, nor honor the persons of the mighty. But in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor. Thou shalt not go up and down as a talebearer among thy people. Neither shalt thou stand against the blood of thy neighbor. I am Yahweh. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt not in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am Yahweh.
Hey, hallelujah. Love your neighbor as yourself. That's a great song, by the way. Wayikra 19, 18, just for those on YouTube. That's not important. So what do y'all see in these two passages? What's in these two passages? The first passage was Deuteronomy chapter 6, starting at verse 1, and the Dawn read through verse 9. Then we read Wayikra, commonly called Leviticus chapter 19, verses 9 through 18. Abigail, Akeem?
How to treat each other so that we can live in peace and shalom amongst each other.
Okay, gang. So that's Wayikra. And Deuteronomy says what? And what's in Deuteronomy, Akeem?
Hold up now, give me.
I said, what do you see in both passages? Shot, you know you got to speak up so you can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, in Deuteronomy chapter 6. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, sir.
What we just read. It seems like those precepts is teaching you how to love the Most High, how to teach others how to love the Most High. And then Leviticus 19, what we just read, teaches you how to love your neighbor, another person.
Oh, okay. So in the book of Deuteronomy, it's telling you about how to love the Most High, your Elohim, with all of your heart, with all your soul, and all your might. And then Wayikra 19 is telling you how to love your neighbor as yourself, right? So kind of when a teacher about 2,000 years ago said, on these two commands lay the whole
law.
Yeah, the whole law is on those two commands, right? Okay, I'll just making sure that y'all, pinpoint dots. So now my question, got a question. Two questions. One, do you think that Wayikra 19 is a setup? When he say, love your neighbor as you love yourself, do you think that that's a setup to fail? And then two, which one is harder, Deuteronomy or Wayikra? So I'm gonna say both of those questions again for those online, for the ones that's not listening, like Eleazar. First one is, do you think Wayikra 19 verses 9 through 18, do you think that that's a setup for failure? Because he tells you to love your neighbor as you love yourself. And then number two, which one is harder? Do you think it is harder to do the commands in Deuteronomy 6 or in Wayikra or Leviticus 19? Azariyahu, Matol Baki, Shalom Israel.
Shalom, shalom. All right. So if you are loving your brother as yourself, you shouldn't be able to fail, because you should be expecting a certain type of level of respect. You're treating each other equally. You're not trying to be superior or inferior, you're trying to be on one accord. Now, in regards to which one is harder, that's an interesting one, because when you read Deuteronomy, it tells you you're supposed to impress it upon your children. So how do you show that you love the Most High and that you're keeping His commands if you don't treat your brother equally? They go hand in hand. So if you say, one is well, if you love the Most High, you're supposed to be able to love your brother. But I think loving our brothers is harder because of our perspective and our doctrines versus the Creator, because we seem to miss the point of the Creator in all things.
Okay. So you said all that, and then you gave your answer at the end, which is it's harder to love your neighbor or do Wayikra than it is Deuteronomy. I just want to make sure that I can write that down for
No.
Huh?
What I'm saying is they are equal. If you can't do Deuteronomy if you can't do Wayikra. Point blank, period. You can't do it.
So if one and I see you Val, if you say you can't do Deuteronomy without Wayikra, then how are they equal?
How does the Most High show that He loves us?
No, you can't answer a question with a question. That's illegal. That's illegal. The question is, how can you not go ahead?
Okay. Let's go. Sleeka, I'm on the phone. All right, so let's go here, right? Let's start with verse 6. And
where
these words, verse 6, Deuteronomy 6, starting at verse 6. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in your heart. Right? So the love for your brother should be in your heart because it is in the command, right? And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children. How do you teach your children how to love without showing love? You can't do that. And then it says, and shall talk of them when thou sit in the house. So even when you're in your house, you're talking about the law, you're meditating on the law, but you also have to, live a certain standard. You can't be one way in the streets and another way in your house. Your kids are going to see the confusion and they're going to act accordingly. And then again, we go a little bit further. It says, and when thou walk by the way, again, how you interact with people on a day-to-day basis. And when you lie down and when you go to sleep, if you don't have no beef with nobody, you go to sleep peacefully. And if you wake up in a renewed and a peaceful mindset, you're going to wake up in a way of love. That's just in the first, that's just in 7. So you can't do none of these if you can't love your brother, because you're not going to have peace. There's going to be some type of discord or something of that nature. So you can't do one without the other.
That's right. I'm gonna keep picking on you a little bit later, but I see a couple Val's hand up, or that's G. I don't really know which one. Like he eating a bowl of cereal. I'm not sure. Go ahead, G.
No, it's me. I would say it's harder to love your brother because the Most High ain't gonna fail you. But you know what I'm saying, with your brother, you got to worry about, if he trying to scheme you, you got to worry about trust. You got to, what I'm saying, you got to worry about all of that stuff. Because man, imperfect. So I would say, it's harder to love your brother.
Okay. And but Yasmin, now you want to come over here so you can stand like right by the computer because I don't think they're gonna hear you over there unless you're gonna use the mommy voice.
Well, I'll stand here then. Well, first, when you love Yah, he'll teach you how to love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, how are you gonna love your neighbor?
Yes. Okay. She snapped. Okay. So for those who didn't hear her, because I didn't hear her really, I'm just playing. She said, if you love Yah, he'll teach you how to love yourself. Because then how can you love somebody else if you don't love yourself? Which is why I asked, was it a setup for failure command where he said, love your neighbor as you love yourself? Because a lot of people in Israel don't know how to love themselves. So then you're going to fail that command because you have yet to find out who you are, right? So the question would be, who are you? Who are you? It wasn't a rhetorical one, though. It's a real question. Who are you? Yes, sir.
I like your question, Moreh, because it causes thought. It really does. I would say that because it's a grand puzzle to me. This is me speaking, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would say that all the answers are correct.
Mm-hmm.
For the simple fact that in this grand puzzle, the Most High is definitely going to teach you how to love yourself. I'm 100% with him.
Who?
Azar, that's why. He hit it right on the money where both those commandments are equal in measure. Prospectively, I think it's different per person because you might have that person, and I'm gonna go to the brick, where you might have that individual that may know how to love his brother as himself. He may know how to not steal, not to commit adultery, all of those things that were identified in that conversation with the good teacher. But he couldn't let go of that one thing, which was his Elohim, which was his monetary values at that point in time. So he knew how to do that portion of the law, I'm saying. And then he had, on the other hand, he had those that were doing well. Exactly. Then he had those that were honoring, I would say, keeping Torah, but yet they didn't know how to treat their brothers.
So were they really keeping Torah? So were they really keeping Torah?
That's the interesting part. Can I say that the other brother was keeping Torah and he was doing well by his brothers? Well, that's the conundrum. That's the conundrum that I'm saying. Because overall, all of those avenues that we're talking about is pointing toward the Creator.
Mm-hmm.
All of it is. It's just like I said, there's a lot of pieces to that puzzle that we can easily glean from per person how they view it in a sense, right?
So I have a question, right? This is it's on topic, but it's off topic, right? So the young rich ruler. So for those who don't know it, because they happen to cut off that side of the book, young rich ruler. Somebody comes up to a great teacher of the past, right? And they ask him, Master, what do I need to do to gain eternal life? The teacher says, keep the commandments. He said, which ones? He said, do not steal, do not commit adultery, do not murder, and love your neighbor as you love yourself. He said, I've kept all these. Then he said, all right, good. He said, so what else I need to do? He said, sell all your things and follow me. So.
Catch all. Sell all your things and give to the poor.
Okay, sell all your things, give to the poor, and follow me. Now, I got a question. Where in Torah does it say sell all your things? Where in Torah does it say sell all your things and give to the poor? Abigail, I saw your hand too, Azar. You dropped it, so you can speak after Abigail, Akeem.
I'm not gonna say it. I don't know where in Torah it says that. I've never seen it. However, right, I think that the thought process is to sell all your things because that is something in a sense that you may idolize, that you hold that great and that important to you that you can't let go of it. It's a sense of idolatry.
Okay, I'm gonna push back on that. I'm just waiting on Azar. Azar, go ahead. But I agree to a certain extent, but I'm gonna push back on that. Go ahead, Azar.
All right, repeat that question one more time.
Azar, come on, Azar, come on.
No. The reason why I say that, right, is because the answer is really in that question. He said the Torah doesn't say to sell your stuff. It doesn't. There's not. But in that sense, he was saying you are doing all these things, but are you teaching? Maybe he was doing the acts, but he wasn't sharing his knowledge with the people in order for them to improve in their walk. So therefore, you have a purpose. Like, is your purpose is just going to be you doing the commandments so it blesses your house, or are you going to take your blessing and bless the people by walking and teaching and showing that aspect? Are you going to elevate to that next level? That's
the key, right? So the question was, where does it say in Torah to sell all your things and give them to the poor and follow any teacher, right? It doesn't. It doesn't. G, you had your hand up and I got you. Hold on.
Now go ahead. I was just gonna answer the question. It don't say nowhere in Torah it's gonna sell your possessions. That's all.
All right, go ahead.
But they were giving their possession away when they were building the tabernacle.
Yeah.
All of it, to the point that they had to tell them to stop.
That's because it was asked for, one, right? It wasn't selling. And two, you didn't have to. It was only for the willing at heart.
Their heart was willing, though.
I know, but would it have been a sin to not give? He said, I only want a teruma. I only want an offering. So if you don't give an offering, is it a sin? No, but it does show the contents of your heart. With the young rich ruler, what Mitzray Azar said was very key. He said he was doing it, but maybe he was supposed to be teaching it, right? So with the young rich ruler's problem was he didn't want to ascend to the next level. It wasn't that he was wicked. It was that he didn't want to go to the next level in Yah. Kind of, for example, Elisha. What was Elisha doing? What was Elisha doing when the prophet Eliah came to go get him?
Plowing.
He was on what?
Plowing.
He was plowing with the oxen. Then Eliah or Elijah, he put his mantle on him and kept on walking. Now, if Elisha would have tossed his mantle off him and kept doing his work, would that have been a sin? You said what? No, it would not have been a sin. Why?
Because it wasn't like it was something told of him to do or to adhere to.
Came, but it was a call. Right? So there's, go ahead, Akeem. I saw you over there looking. Go ahead.
Okay, I just want to pose this verse right here. This is Mishle of Proverbs 11, 25, 26.
Mishle of Proverbs. Say it again, Akeem.
Proverbs, Mishle 11, 25, 26. This may expound a little bit more on the rich man. And it reads, the generous. And it reads, the generous being isn't rich, and he who waters is also watered himself. The people curse him who withhold rain, but blessed is on the head of him who sells it.
Mm-hmm.
And may expound a little bit on why he was truly withheld from everlasting life because of the assets that he had that he was not selling. So just to kind of,
it didn't say he would not get everlasting life.
Whoa.
So what he said afterwards, he said that it'll be harder for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom. Why? Because they are complacent. They are comfortable. They have waxed fat, which is what the Creator said Israel did, right? Once you're eating, once you're good, you're going to forget to take care of my work. Which kind of goes back to what Azar was saying in terms of you have more to do. I set you up, but I didn't set you up for you to be set up alone. I set you up to help other people.
No, Cain.
But
the same thing in a sense.
Cain.
The same thing.
For those who water will be watered, which is a great verse, which Cain. So I like the verse. I'm just making sure that everybody understand. There is a call for elevation that everybody hears, but not everybody answers.
Okay. That sound like a lot every time we bring him up.
Cain. It's a call for elevation that everybody hears, but everybody answers. So if you see somebody saying it, that's because they won't answer the call to come up higher. I've done all these since my youth. All right, boom. It's time to elevate then. I don't want to elevate. All right, boom. Now you're going to stay stagnant. So it's not that you won't get into the kingdom. You won't fulfill what you were put here to fulfill. So I don't know how we got there, but okay. So that because that's your fault.
I was trying to bring it back.
No, you good. No, because it still ties in because the aspect of you answering your call is taking care of the people that are around you. The Most High's purpose for your life is always going to say that again. The purpose for your life is always going to be for the benefit of others around you. Your purpose is never just for you. So that means that if you don't fully fulfill your purpose or truly answer the call, then you are preventing others from getting what they would have gotten or should have gotten had you answered your call. So now the Most High got to find somebody else to do it or do it another way because the Most High's word doesn't return to him void, but it has to be done. So going back to what we were speaking of, right? Which one is harder? Loving the Most High with all your heart, soul, and might, or loving thy neighbor as thyself? I believe it's James or John who said that he who says he loves the Creator, who he does not see, but hates his brother who he does see, is a liar. Okay, so going back to, I told you I was gonna come back to pick on you, Azar. Going back to you, Akeem. My question is, right? One is the greater command. The greater command is what? Loving Yahweh with all your heart, soul, and might. But you can't get to level 1 without fulfilling level 2. You can't get to loving Yah with all your heart, soul, and might without fulfilling loving thy neighbor as yourself. Because most of the ways, right, or methods that you show that you love the Creator is by loving your brother and sister. Let's go to Micah or Micah. Okay, Naki.
Yeah, that scripture, it was in 1 John chapter
4. 1 John?
Verse 20.
Okay.
1 John.
1 John chapter 4. But no, we're not going to 1 John chapter 4. We're going to Micah chapter 6. Micah is a minor prophet, so it might be hard.
Very small.
Yeah, but y'all can find them. M-I-C-A. Micah chapter 6. And we're going to read verses 1 through 8. You got it? Okay. Okay.
Micah, commonly called Micah, chapter 6, verses 1 through 8. Okay. Hear ye now what Yah saith. Arise, contend thou before the mountains, and let the hills hear thy voice. Hear ye, O mountains, Yahweh's controversy, and ye strong foundations of the earth. Yahweh hath a controversy with his people, and he will plead with Israel.
Okay, hold on right quick. So the Most High say, heaven and earth witness. Well, really, earth witness. The Most High has a controversy. He has an issue with his people. Tosif,
Verse 3. O my people, what have I done unto thee, and wherein have I wearied thee? Testify against me. For I brought thee up out of the land of Mizraim, and redeemed thee out of the house of servants. And I sent before thee Moshe, Aaron, and Miriam. O my people, remember now what Balak, king of Moab, consulted, and what Balaam, the son of Beor, answered him from Shittim unto Gilgal, that ye may know the righteousness of Yahweh. Wherewith shall I come before Yah, and bow myself before the high El? Shall I come before him with burnt offerings, with calves of a year old? Will Yahweh be pleased with thousands of rams, or with 10,000s of rivers of oil? Shall I give my firstborn for my transgression, the fruit of my body for the sin of my soul? Verse 8, he have showed thee, O man, what is good. And what doth Yahweh require of thee?
What does he require?
But to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with Yah.
Okay, so it says, with what should I approach the Creator? What do I need to bring to approach the throne of the Almighty? Do I need calves and bulls and 1,000 offerings? He said, no. The Most High has already told you what you should do. Do justice, love mercy, walk humbly with your Creator. Who are you giving mercy and doing justice towards?
Your fellow man, your brother.
Oh, you can't
Your
give
sister.
mercy to the Creator?
Nah, not at all.
Oh, you can't do justice toward the Creator?
No.
Low. So that means that he's saying that I don't want anything for me. I want you to do this for my people. Let's go to it's gonna be a long reading, but Amos chapter 5. Amos chapter 5, and we're gonna read the whole chapter. It's only 26 verses. We good. Amos chapter 5.
Amos. Chapter 5, verse 1. Hear ye this word, which I take up against you, even a lamentation, O house of Israel. The virgin of Israel is fallen. She shall no more rise. She is forsaken upon her land. There is none to raise her up. For thus saith Yahweh Elohim, the city that went out by 1,000 shall leave 100, and that which went forth by 100 shall leave 10 to the house of Israel. For thus saith Yahweh unto the house of Israel, seek ye me, and ye shall live. But seek not Bethel, nor enter into Gilgal, and pass not to Beersheba, for Gilgal shall surely go into captivity, and Bethel shall come to naught. Seek Yahweh, and ye shall live, lest he break out like fire in the house of Yosef, and devour it, and there be none to quench it in Bethel. Ye who turn judgment to wormwood, and leave off righteousness in the earth, seek him that maketh the 7 stars in Orion, and turneth the shadow of death.
You who turn justice into wormwood, you turn justice into poison. You have poisoned right rulings. You throw righteousness to so you trample under righteousness. Toward who? Who do you do justice towards? Kylie? Who do you do justice towards? You only, Kylie. Justice means to do right. Who do you do right towards?
Yeah.
People or Yah?
Yeah. Yeah, people. Like, how many? Me, right? Like,
You. Who do you do justice towards? Who can you make sure that you're doing right by? People or Yah? Can you see Yah? Can people, right? Because you can't give the creator anything, pretty much, right? Because he owns everything. Okay. So you do justice towards people. So if you turn justice into poison, you're poisoning the people. You are trampling the people. But this is how he said, seek him. Keep going, Akeem.
Verse 8. Seek him that maketh the 7 stars and Orion, and turneth the shadow of death into the morning, and maketh the day dark with night, that calleth for the waters of the sea, and poureth them out upon the face of the earth. Yahuwah is his name. That strengtheneth the spoil against the strong, so that the spoiled shall come against the fortress. They hate him that rebuketh in the gate, and they abhor him that speaketh uprightly. For as much therefore as your treading is upon the poor, and ye take from him burdens of wheat, ye have built houses of hewn stone, but ye shall not dwell in them. Ye have planted pleasant vineyards, but ye shall not drink wine of them. For I know your manifold transgressions and your mighty sins. They afflict the just, they take a bribe, and they turn aside the poor in the gate from their right.
Okay. So he said, you impose a tax on the poor, right? So you tax the poor, you hate the righteous, you take bribes, and you cause the needy or those who can't serve you to get away from you. So the people who can't help you, those are the people that you kick to the side. Go ahead, Akeem.
Verse 13. Therefore, the prudent shall keep silence in that time, for it is an evil time. Seek good and not evil, that ye may live. And so Yahuwah, the mighty one of hosts, the El of hosts, shall be with you, as ye have spoken. Hate the evil and love the good, and establish judgment in the gate. It may be Yahuwah Adonai, or Yahuwah of hosts, will be gracious unto the remnant of yourself.
He said, as you think, or as you have spoken. Meaning, you thought that I was with you because you know you're Yisrael. You thought that that's the reason why I'm with you. But I'm not with you because you're doing everything that is against me. So do good, hate evil, right? Establish justice in the gate, and then I'll be with you.
Verse 16. Therefore, Yahuwah, the mighty one of hosts, Yahuwah saith thus, wailing shall be in all streets, and they shall say in all the highways, Alas, alas, and they shall call the husbandmen to mourning, and such as are skillful of lamentation to wailing. And in all vineyards shall be wailing, for I will pass through thee, saith Yahuwah. Woe unto you that desire the day of Yahuwah. To what end is it for you? The day of Yahuwah is darkness and not light. As if a man did flee from a lion, and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall, and a serpent bit him. Shall not the day of Yahuwah be darkness and not light? Even very dark, and no brightness in it. I despise your feast days, and I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. Though ye offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them, neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beasts. Take thou away from me the noise of thy songs, for I will not hear the melody of thy vows. But let judgment run down as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream. Have ye offered unto me sacrifices and offerings in the wilderness 40 years, O house of Israel?
That's good right there, Akeem. So he said, he said, I hate your festivals, your feasts, everything he put in Torah, right? That we're supposed to be keeping Torah toward him. He said, I don't want any of that. I don't want the feast days. I don't want the offerings. I don't want you singing. I don't want your prayers. I don't want any of that. But the greatest command is love Yahuwah with all your heart, soul, and might. So I thought we were supposed to be doing everything toward the Creator. But the Most High said, that's not what he wants. So which one is more important? Not which one is greater, which one is one more important. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah or Jeremiah chapter 14. Jeremiah or Jeremiah chapter 14. Chapter 14, we're going to read verses 7 through 12.
Jeremiah, commonly called Jeremiah, chapter 14, verses 7 through 12. O Yah, through our iniquities, testify against us. Do thou it for thy name's sake, for our backslidings are many. We have sinned against thee, O the hope of Israel, the savior thereof in time of trouble. Why shouldest thou be a stranger in the land, and as a warfaring man that turneth aside to tarry for a night? Why shouldest thou be as a man astonished, as a mighty man that cannot save? Yet thou, O Yah, art in the midst of us, and we are called by thy name. Leave us not. Thus saith Yahuwah unto this people. Thus have they loved to wander. They have not refrained their feet. Therefore Yahuwah doeth not accept them. He will now remember their iniquity and visit their sins. Then said Yahuwah unto me, pray not for this people, for their good. When they fast, I will not hear their cry. And when they offer burnt offering and an oblation, I will not accept of them. But I will consume them by the sword, and by the famine, and by the pestilence.
That's right. So it said, even though we sinned Most High, even though we don't really care about keeping the commands toward our people, can you still be with us? Even though we really aren't, making sure that our brother good or our sister good, can you still make sure that you bless us? Most High said, lo. He said, they love to stray. They have not restrained their feet. So you love to do everything else around what you're supposed to be doing. So when you pray, when you give offerings, so on and so forth, the Most High will not be with you, nor will he hear. He will not be with you, nor will he hear. But I understand, right? Those are people. And like G said, maybe you can't trust them. Maybe you got to watch them. Maybe, maybe they can't do anything for you. Maybe they've done something to you and you don't want to let it go. So, I understand that might be the harder one. But surely we don't do that to the Creator, right? Surely we make sure we do what we're supposed to do toward the Creator, right? If we don't do it for people, surely we do it for the Creator. Let's go to the book of Ezekiel, Ezekiel chapter 16, and we're going to read verses 1 through 22. 1 through 22. Ezekiel 16, verses 1 through 22.
Ezekiel, commonly called Ezekiel, chapter 16, verses 1 through 22. Again, the words of Yahuwah came unto me, saying, Son of man, cause Jerusalem to know her abominations, and say, Thus said Yahuwah, Adonai, or mighty one unto Jerusalem, thy birth and thy nativity is of the land of Canaan. Thy father was an Amorite, and thy mother an Hittite. And as for thy nativity in the day thou was born, thy navel was not cut, neither was thou washed in water to suckle thee. Thou was not salted at all, nor swaddled at all. None I pitied thee to do any of these unto thee, to have compassion upon thee, but thou wast cast out into the open field, to the loathing of thy person. In that day that thou was born, and when I passed by thee, and saw thee polluted in thine own blood, I said unto thee, when thou wast in thy blood, live. Yea, I said unto thee, when thou wast in thy blood, live. I have caused thee to multiply as the bud of the field, and thou hast increased and waxen great, and thou art come to excellent ornaments. Thy breasts are fashioned, and thy hair is grown, whereas thou wast naked and bare. And now when I passed by thee and looked upon thee, behold, thy time was the time of love. And I spread my skirt over thee and covered thy nakedness. Yea, I swear unto thee and enter into a covenant with thee, saith Yahuwah Adonai, and thou becamest mine. Then washed I thee with water. Yea, I thoroughly washed away thy blood from thee, and I anointed thee with oil. And I clothed thee also with broidered work, and shod thee with badger skin. And I girded thee about with fine linen, and I covered thee with silk. I decked thee also with ornaments, and I put bracelets upon thy hands, and a chain on thy neck, and I put a jewel on thy forehead, and earrings in thine ears, and a beautiful crown upon thine head. Thus was thou decked with gold and silver, and thy raiment was of fine linen and silk, and broidered work. Thou didst eat fine flour and honey and oil, and thou wast exceeding beautiful, and thou didst prosper into a kingdom. And thy renown went forth among the nations for thy beauty, for it was perfect through my comeliness, which I had put upon thee, saith Yahuwah.
Okay, so the Most High, this of course is the love story of the Most High and Yisrael. Very good read. So the Most High is telling us how it started. Right in the beginning, you was naked, ain't nobody want you. I came and got you. I put my jacket over you, right, which is also a cultural sign that that woman belongs to that man. You know, I put my covering over you, which is why when you sleep with somebody or sleep with your father's wife or somebody like that, you uncover their nakedness. You're taking off the covering that was placed upon them, right? So the Most High said, I put my covering upon you. I made you mine. I decked you out. You had nose rings, earrings, and gold and silver chains and silk and embroidered work and so on and so forth. You were the most beautiful thing on earth because of me. So we went from, right, talking about people who can't do all of that stuff for you. Now we're talking about the creator who does do all of those things for you. And how do we still act? Tosi Faki.
Thank you. Verse 15. But thou didst trust in thine own beauty, and playedst the harlot because of thy renown, and poured out thy fornications on everyone that passed by. His it was. And of thy garments thou didst take, and deckedst thy high places with diverse colors, and playedst the harlot thereupon. The like thing shall not come, neither shall it be so. Thou hast also taken thy fair jewels of my gold, and of my silver, which I had given thee, and madest to thyself images of men, and didst commit whoredom with them, and tookest thy broidered garments and coveredst them, and thou hast set mine oil and my incense before them. My meat also which I gave thee, fine flour and oil, and honey wherewith I fed thee, thou hast even set it before them for a sweet savor. And thus it was, saith Yahuwah El. Moreover, thou hast taken thy sons and thy daughters, whom thou hast born unto me, and these hast thou sacrificed unto them to be devoured. Is this of thy whoredoms a small matter, that thou hast slain my children, and delivered them to cause them to pass through the fire for them? And in all thine abominations and thine whoredoms, thou hast not remembered the days of thy youth, when thou wast naked and bare, and was polluted in thy blood.
Okay, so Most High said, so I gave you all of that, right? I made you beautiful because of the beauty I put on you. But you got cocky in the beauty that you thought was yours. So you took the clothes that I gave you, and you gave them to somebody else. He said you took the gold and the silver, right? This is hilarious. You took the gold and the silver that I gave you, and you made adult women toys with them. That's what it said. It said images of men. No, it's not images of men. That's the Washington Monument that you made. And it said you fornicated with them. You made adult women toys with them, and you played with those. You polluted yourself. And then after all of that, not only did you pollute yourself, now you polluted the children. You made the children that you bore to me, they were my children. You have them passing through the fire 3,000 years ago, right? But today, we're still doing the same thing. It's not just then, it's now. The children are passing through the fire. How? They're watching things that they're not supposed to do, teaching things that, well, learning things that they're not supposed to be learning, dressing any and every way, living the ways of Moloch and the other nations, Canaanite, doing abominable things in their youth. You're placing them in places where they are taking on to themselves things that you deem okay, because you think that it's you who gave you everything that you have. But I know we don't think that, right? Let's keep going. Let's go to Tehillim 78. Psalm 78. Then after this one, I'm really want to show us 78 chapter 78, starting at verse 40.
Tehillim, commonly called Psalms, chapter 78, verse 40. And it reads, how oft did they provoke him in the wilderness and grieve him in the desert? Yea, they turned back and tempted Yah, and limited the set apart one of Israel. They remembered not his hand, nor the day when he delivered them from the enemy, how he had wrought his how he had wrought his sins in Mitzrayim, how he had wrought his signs in Mitzrayim, and his wonders in the field of Zoan, and had turned their rivers into blood, and their floods, that they could not drink. He sent diverse sorts of flies among them, which devoured them, and frogs which destroyed them. He gave also their increase unto the caterpillar, and their labor unto the locust. He destroyed their vines with hail, and their sycamore trees with frost. He gave up their cattle also to the hail, and their flocks to hot thunderbolts. He cast upon them the fierceness of his anger, wrath, and indignation, and trouble by sending evil angels or evil messengers among them. He made a way to his anger. He spared not their soul from death, but gave their life over to the pestilence, and smote all the firstborn in Mitzrayim, the chief of their strength in the tabernacles of Ham, but made his own people to go forth like sheep, and guided them in the wilderness like a flock. And he led them on safely, so that they feared not. But the sea overwhelmed their enemies, and he brought them to the border of his sanctuary, even to his mountain, which his right hand had purchased. He cast out the nations also before them, and divided them an inheritance by line, and made the tribes of Israel to dwell in their tents.
Okay, so he did all of that for you. We all know the story of coming out. It's Pesach season, right? So we all know the aspect of us coming out, the 10 plagues. But how do we act? So see if I can.
That was 51, right?
55. Okay.
Okay. Verse 54. And he brought them to the border of his sanctuary, even to the mountain which his right hand had purchased. He cast out the nations also before them, and divided them an inheritance by line, and made the tribes of Israel to dwell in their tents. Yet they tempted and provoked the Most High Yah, and kept not his testimonies, and turned back and dealt unfaithfully like their fathers. They were turned aside like a deceitful boat, for they provoked him to anger with their high places, and moved him to jealousy with their graven images. When Yah heard this, he was wroth, and greatly abhorred Israel, so that he forsook the tabernacle of Shiloh, the tent which he placed among them, and delivered his strength into captivity, and his esteem into the enemy's hand. He gave his people over also unto the sword, and was wroth with his inheritance. The fire consumed their young men, and their maidens were not given to marriage. Their priests fell by the sword, and their widows made no lamentation.
Okay. So the Most High, after he did everything for us, we rebel so that he give us to the sword, pestilence, and the famine. Now, I know once again, this is almost 4,000 years ago. There's no way that we the same people. We're going to read another prophet, right? and then we're going to talk about us, reading about us. Let's go to the book of Haggai. Haggai chapter 1. We start from the top. I'll keep going to read from 1 to 11.
Haggai, commonly called Haggai, chapter 1, verse 1. In the second year of Darius the king, in the 6th month, in the first day of the month, came the word of Yahuwah by Haggai, the prophet, unto Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Yehuda, and to Yehoshua, the son of Yoshdek, the high priest, saying, Thus speak of Yahuwah of hosts, or Yahuwah Zabaoth, saying, This people say, the time is not come, the time that Yahuwah's house shall be built. Then came the word of Yahuwah by Haggai, the prophet, saying, Is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your sealed houses, and this house lie waste? Now therefore, thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, consider your ways. Ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put into a bag with holes. Thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, consider your ways. Go up to the mountain and bring wood and build the house, and I will take pleasure in it, and I will be esteemed, saith Yahuwah. Ye looked for much, and lo, it came to little. And when ye brought it home, I did blow upon it. Why? Saith Yahuwah of hosts, because of mine house that is waste, and ye run every man unto his own house. Therefore, the heaven over you is stayed from dew, and the earth is stayed from her fruit. And I call for a drought upon the land, and upon the mountains, and upon the corn, and upon the new wine, and upon the oil, and upon that which the ground bringeth forth, and upon men, and upon cattle, and upon all the labor of the hands. Then Zerubbabel, the son of...
So, I messed up. Okay, so Haggai said that y'all said it's not time for us to worry about the house of the Creator. It's not time for us to do anything in regards to dealing with the Creator. But he like, well, okay, it's not time for that, but all y'all living good. All y'all are not, all of y'all protected, all y'all got food, drinking water, y'all working, y'all making money, y'all doing all of this stuff, but it's still no desire to build anything for me. So what you did plant, right? And the Most High even said, I believe it's if you were to count, well, it may be in there, that you were supposed to have 20 measures, but you only get 10. You were supposed to have a lot, but it's going to seem like a little because you aren't worrying about me. You're worrying about you. 2022, yeah, you got a job, you're making $60,000, $70,000, $80,000. But for some reason, it only seems as if you're making like 25. You're still struggling. You're still stressed. Or you got to work long hours. You have to do all of this because you aren't worried about with what I give you to do for me. So now I'm going to blow one. I'm going to put a curse on everything that you have. Everything that you have, I'm not going to bless it. So even if you are, it seems like you're doing well, right? That's still minor in what you're supposed to be doing. Even if you make it 50 or 60, right? You're supposed to be making 100, 110. But because you are worried about your house and not the house of the Creator, now nothing that you do will prosper on the level that it's supposed to. So the same way that you're settling with your relationship with the Creator, it's the same way that you're settling in what you have. So even the people in Haggai's time, right? This is around the time we got out of Babylon. So about 2,500 years ago, we're still doing the same thing. Everybody's worried about their house. I'm worried about my house, you worry about your house, and if I got something, maybe I can help you out. But nobody's worrying about the Creator's house. What are you building for Yah? What are you contributing to his work? It's not about just, well, no, yeah, also showing up. Where's your presence at? Because for them to have to build the temple, they had to be there. So not only did some people have to be there, everybody had to be there to put in the work, but then you also needed supplies. But if all the supplies that should have been in the house of Yah is in your house, how would you build? But we want the kingdom. We want to be restored. We want to have freedom. We want all these things, but we're not giving to the Creator. It's not about me. It's not about the remnant. I don't even care if you're not here. Anywhere that you are, anywhere that the work of Yah is being done, and you're not contributing to that work, you are preventing yourself from getting what you are supposed to have. It's not my words. That's what the Creator said. So we have a problem dealing with, we see earlier, we have a problem dealing with people, and we have a problem dealing with putting our whole right heart, soul, and might. That's the greatest command, right? Your heart is your mind. Your leb, that's your mind, and that's your heart. Is your mind toward the Creator? Are the things in your mind surrounding the Creator? That's heart. Your soul is your nefesh. What are you putting your hands to? What works are you doing for the Creator? Or are all your works for your house? Hold on, Akeem. And then the third one is your might. That's your resources. Where are your resources going? Are they going to something that is not for the kingdom, but it just benefits you? Are you only doing everything that you're doing for you? Because if that's the case, you don't have a hand in what is being built. And that's why you feel the way you feel. Or your life is the way that your life is. So whether it's the first commandment or second commandment, all of your heart, soul, and might have to be in those. Because as Zar said earlier, they're intertwined. But if you can't love your neighbor, right, with making sure they're straight, love your neighbor as yourself, all of that. But then on the other hand, putting all that you have into making sure that the kingdom is built, then you're off balance. You're off balance. And the reason why Israel is the way Israel is, with everything that we have, is because there's an imbalance. So see, okay.
King, first and foremost, start off praise the Most High for the words you just spoke. Definitely resonated with me. One of the things that because I'm always trying to figure out what's the catalyst for it all, right? I think my Akazar can agree and say that trust is the issue between both of those two great commandments. Putting your trust in Creator and putting your trust in fellow man. That's ultimately the hardest thing to do, or the biggest roadblock to get past. As I'm reading, I'm looking at Haggai, and I was of course reading down. I'm looking at verse 12. And I'll read it. And it says, verse 12, then Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, and Yehoshua, son of Jehozadak, the high priest, with the remnant of people, obeyed the voice of Yahweh, their Elohim, and the word of Haggai the priest, the Slickah the prophet. And Yahweh, their Elohim, has sent him, and the people feared the presence of Yahweh. This is the point that I want to pull out here. 13, and Haggai, messenger of Yahweh, spoke the message of Yahweh to the people, saying, I am with you, declares Yahweh. In the beginning, right there, you see that the trust was built amongst themselves, putting their trust in the Creator. Then the Most High speaking to Haggai, that's where that conjoining starts to happen. Verse 14. Then Yahuwah stirred up the spirit of Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, governor of Yehuda, and the spirit of Yehoshua, son of Nun, son of Yahushua, the high priest, and the spirit of all the remnant of the people. And they came and worked on the house of Yahuwah of hosts, their Elohim. So once they finally got past that roadblock of trust, then everything came together at that point.
Can you read chapter 2, starting at verse 10?
Haggai chapter 2, starting at verse 10. In the 4th and 20th day of the 9th month, in the 2nd year of Darius, came the word of Yahuwah by Haggai, the prophet, saying, Thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, ask now the priest concerning the law, saying, if one bear the set apart flesh in the skirt of his garment, and with his skirt to touch bread, or pottage, or wine, or oil, or any meat, shall it be set apart? And the priest answered and said, No. Then said Haggai, if one that is unclean by a dead body touch any of these, shall it be unclean? And the priest answered and said, it shall be unclean. Then answered Haggai and said, so is this people, and so is this nation before me, saith Yahuwah, and so is every work of their hands, and that which they offer there is unclean. And now I pray you, consider from this day and upward, from before a stone.
Hold on, Akeem. Hold on. All right, so the question is, right, he asked the priest, because the priest supposed to be the teachers, right? Malachi say that the people go to him, the people go to the priest in order to get, wisdom and knowledge off from their lips, right? So he asked the priest, he said, if I'm holy, right, pretty much just taking it into context so you understand, right? If I'm holy and I touch Uzi, does that make him holy or set apart?
Not necessarily.
No, but if I'm unclean and I touch Uzi, does that make him unclean?
Yes.
Oh, so it's easier to spread uncleanliness than it is to spread set apartness. Most I said it's easier for you to spread that which is unclean because you can't spread through touch set apartness. Then he said, this is how this people, this is what this people is, right? Meaning that they're still giving these sacrifices. He said everything that they're giving, what they offer there is defiled. So everything that they're trying to offer me is unclean because they are unclean. How are they unclean? Because they're still not trying to build for me. So he's saying that your prayers are unclean. He's saying that your offerings are unclean. He's saying everything that you're giving to the Creator is unclean to him because you're not building. We're going to read. You can read it. So it's not me. It's the Creator speaking. Can you read that?
Verse 14. Then answered Haggai and said, so is this people, and so is this nation before me, saith Yahuwah, and so is every work of their hands, and that which they offer there is unclean. And now I pray you, consider from this day and upward, from before a stone was laid upon a stone in the temple of Yahuwah, since those days were when one came to an heap and 20 measures, there were but 10. When one came to the press fat for to draw out 50 vessels out of the press, there were but 20. I smote you with blasting and with mildew and with hail in all the labors of your hands. Yet ye turn not to me, said Yahuwah. Consider now from this day and upward, from the 24th day of the 9th month, even from the day that the foundation of Yahuwah's temple was laid. Consider it. Is the seed yet in the barn? Yea, as the vine and the fig tree, and the pomegranate and the olive tree have not brought forth from this day, will I bless you.
So the Most High said, from you were unclean, right? The works of your hands were unclean, your offerings were unclean, everything was unclean because you weren't building for me. So when you measured out 20 and you was like, look, I did the numbers on my bills and look, we're supposed to have this extra. But then when your bills come, all of a sudden you have no extra and you actually still owe money. Or look, my children, I thought we were studying with them and so on and so forth, but they still felt everything that you thought was supposed to be is not. Because you're still not putting your hands and your resources and your heart toward the work of the Creator.
Question.
Okay.
So in there, they were building. What exactly were they building? They
were supposed to be building the temple.
But what were they building?
They weren't. They were building their own house.
Oh.
They were building for themselves. He said, in chapter 1, he said, they say it's not time for the house of Yah to be rebuilt. But then the Most High said, oh, but it's time for you to be good. So it's not time for my stuff to get done, but you have time for you. Okay, well, everything's cursed. So in chapter 2, he's saying, you were unclean, right? You were unclean because in your works and all of that was defiled. I didn't accept it because you weren't putting the work in. Now, from this day where the foundation is laid, he said, because I see the foundation is laid. They didn't finish the temple. But just because you laid a foundation, which means that you're putting your hand toward the work, I'm going to bless everything you do now. Only because you started the work. So if you haven't started and things are falling off and so on and so forth, that he said, he said, verse 17, I struck you, all the works of your hand with blight, mildew, and hail, but you did not return to me. I'm giving you example after example, chaos after chaos. I'm doing this to you. I'm doing that to you. You get fired from your job. Your children lost outside somewhere. All of this is happening, but you still won't turn to me. You still won't hear. You still don't get it. But as soon as the foundation is laid to where it's like, all right, boom, let me knock all of that off that I was building, right? For unless Yah builds the house, the builders have what? So unless Yah builds the house, you have worked in vain, which means you have to kill that foundation and build a foundation on Yah. Then I'm going to bless you. So if you haven't built the foundation on the Creator, then nothing that you do will work because it's in vain, because you're dirty and defiled. So everything that you're trying to get to the Creator is dirty and defiled.
Because you're constantly in the mindset of doing what Cain did.
Cain, giving him what's left over. You're working on your house, right? Cain wanted the best for him and gave the Creator whatever was left. And then you get mad because he doesn't accept it. Which is why you're like, yo, what's wrong with you? You know, if you do well, will you not be accepted? If you do my work, will I not bless you? Did I not say, if you do this, then I will do that? So why are you mad that your life is the way it is if you're not doing what I told you to do? That's like your child getting upset because they're on punishment, but they never cleaned up, they never studied, they never did anything you asked them to do, but they got attitude. All that's going to do is get you popped more. Do your work, then I will bless you.
Yeah, finish that verse, because that's going to sum it all up.
What? Which one?
Genesis chapter 4.
Oh, if not, if you don't do well, then sin is at your door, and its desire is to rule you, but you shall rule over it. Its desire is to consume you. So because you're not doing what is acceptable, you're being consumed. You're being destroyed slowly because you won't do what the Creator asked you to do, right? Mishlei 28, I think is 9. It said, he who turns his ear away from Torah, even his prayer is an abomination. That's the same thing that we just read. Because you're not doing what I told you to do, nothing that you do is acceptable to me. Your prayer is an abomination. I don't want to hear you talk. That's what the Creator said. I didn't say it. Proverbs 28:9. Y'all can read it. So if that's the case, right, then what are we doing as a nation? Why are we not putting our hand? Everybody's worried about their camp. Everybody's worried about their assembly. If you're not in a camp or assembly, everybody worried about their household. Everybody's worrying about whatever their last name is instead of the house of Yisrael. So if the house of Yisrael was not built and you think you're building your house, it's going to fall.
It is.
I didn't say that. The Creator said that. So no weapon formed against me shall prosper, so you can't shoot the messenger. At the end of the day, we build the house of the Creator first. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and all of his righteousness, and all of these things will be added unto you.
Amen.
Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and all of its righteousness. Yahuwah is my shepherd, I shall have no lack. If he's your shepherd, then that means he leads you. But if you're not being led by what he instructed you to do, you will have lack. First two, the greatest commandments are love Yahuwah your Elohim with all your heart, soul, and might, and to love thy neighbor as thyself. You can't do number one without number two, but you can't leave out number one, especially the heart, soul, and might part, because you have to be complete. You have to be perfect. That means loving that which is seen and then loving him who is not seen by putting your all into everything that he asks you to do. So with that, Ms. McCall, the volume may go up, so I wasn't yelling. I pray everybody got something out of it. All praises, all esteem, all honor to the Most High Yah, Elohim, or Eloah, Isaac, Israel, and Abraham. Toda Rabah. So the floor is open for any questions or comments. Okay, Ms. Ray.
King, Tob lesson. It's definitely a much needed lesson right now, because I was just reading, I believe it's in Hosea, I believe. But it was talking about blood and clouds of smoke before the great terrible day. And you was mentioning, the time of the Most High is not a time of, it's a dark time. It's not something that, a lot of people understand. And if we don't have a place of refuge, which is if we know the Creator is our refuge, but we don't have a house of refuge, or we don't have a temple, or we don't have a place that we can gather amongst each other to weigh out the storm, we are putting ourselves in harm's way, because the Most High is going to move. But where are we going to be? Are we going to be in this? Are we going to be in his safety? Because we already know, when 2 or 3 are gathered, he is in the midst. We know this. However, are we gathering our resources that we are getting in this time of preparation to come together, to have that temple, to have that place of refuge? Or are we just stockpiling for ourselves and hoping that we have enough to weigh out the storm? So I think this is definitely a Tob lesson, and it shows the importance of community. It shows the importance of treating our neighbor and thinking about our brothers and sisters, but most importantly, is our heart truly for the Creator? And if so, are we showing that by how we interact with one another and what we're doing to establish the Creator's name on earth? So I think it was a very dope lesson. Toda Yah for placing that message within you, and let's keep moving forward. Lakim Yah.
Kain Akeem, Lekum Yah. Toda Rabah, and absolutely. The goal is community. That was from the beginning, right? He built the place for the community to be, Gan Eden or Garden of Eden, and he placed people in it to multiply and have people within the garden so they can take care of each other and be in the presence of the Creator. They messed that up. They did the same thing the Most High was trying to do. And Yisrael have the temple in the middle or the Mishkan at that particular time, have all the tribes surrounding it. Y'all take care of each other. I'll be in the midst and y'all do whatever I told y'all to do. The blueprint has not changed. We keep trying to seek another way in order to do what the Creator told us to do. Anyone else? Okay. Y'all never talk to me. That's okay. All right. You want to expound on your thoughts? Or?
No. Okay. Well, first and foremost, I went for my Azar outstanding lesson, Tov lesson. Yeah. Very thought provoking. Very let me use this word. Shanan, which I thought was very interesting because that's the word that is used for being diligent. It's used in the same reference as far as the Isha is concerned, as far as preparing to make an impression on something. That's why it says, teach your children diligently, to impress on them this word, this way of life. And that's how you truly get your foundation. Again, I had to go to the brick. I'm looking at Matthew 7:24, where it talks about the man that builds his house on a rock. Through all adversity, I'm paraphrasing, through all adversity, your house will stand. But if you don't have a foundation, that same adversity is going to come and your house is going to fall. But just like the brothers that were spoke about, they didn't have a foundation and everything was cursed. But once that foundation is actually laid, once you actually to shoot and actually get that foundation, that's when the Most High will bless the works of your hands.
Okay. All you need is a foundation. You can't build without a foundation, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Low, cannot.
Yeah. So the foundation is the most important part, which is loving. You're loving the Creator, right? Keeping His Torah, but there's a way that you have to do it, which is going in the aspect of community, and your community being one in serving the Creator. If your community is broken, right, which is what we see in Israel, we see a broken community, which lacks the foundation, which then makes the Creator say, I'm not coming down there. My presence will not be there. Okay.
If majority rules, right, you got a small percentage, can that like stop the Creator from
The whole lot.
Yeah, which is why you have to take the leaven out. So if the remnant separates itself from the majority, that's when the Most High will be in the presence of the remnant. But if you continue to be, which is why he says, come out from amongst them. Even with the nations, he said, I drew you out and I set you apart. He's setting you apart so this can be complete or perfectly for him. But if you want to be in the midst of those who are not sold out for him, then you're going to have issues.
It's just like the story of Jonah, Noel, when he was on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even though they didn't pray to the same Elohim that he believed in, they still understood the concept of there's something off, there's something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get rid of you. I'm sorry, bye. You know, and he accepted that because he understood. So that showed you that
we had the concept back then, but now, we need to study the Bible, study the parts of when the Most High is talking to the prophets and he's telling them, don't look at the faces of the people because you have to do what you have to do. Because the people can discourage you from doing what needs to be done. Looking at their faces, their expressions, their reactions, certain type of things, because we are people that we get attached to man. And we put man first, versus Elohim. So
Yeah, because that's what you see. So because you see man first, that's why that's your first test. The first test is dealing with man. Then you get to the creator. You don't get to the creator first. You get to man first. You knew your mama, your Abba and your Imam before you knew the creator's name or what the creator asked you to do. You see that first in your parents. So that's your first test. And then it goes to the creator as you're learning about him and understanding, which is why then you have to leave in order for your relationship to begin with your with the creator. It does not work the other way around. Does anybody else have any questions or comments? Ema, well, the Wilsons, are y'all told? Shay, Sar, Coke Gwyneth. Right. Y'all give me a thumbs up or something. E, G, Abigail.
All is well, all is well. Give God thanks.
Hold on, E. The only person who, follow directions. Yeah. He gave you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Shay. Okay. Hallelujah. Yeah. Well, prayerfully, once again, everybody got something out of it. And we can continue. Okay. And we can continue to grow and move together. It would be way better for us to get it together than the Most High to begin to deal with us as he did with our forefathers and foremothers. With plagues within the camp, serpents and ground opening up and all that good stuff that we read about that we don't think can come back, but it's on its way. So just don't act as if you are irreplaceable. Shout out to Beyonce. Nobody is irreplaceable. So what you don't do or unwilling to do, right? Like go into the land, the Most High will choose somebody else. Because his word is which will not return back to him void. Ironically, he didn't say that your spirit will not return back to him void. He didn't say that you will accomplish. He said, my word will accomplish what I sent it forth to do. So that means if you don't do it, he's going to remove you and put somebody else in your place. That's Yisrael. We have this skewed thought that because we're Yisrael, we are in covenant with the Creator. It is the nation that is in covenant with the Creator. The nation of Yisrael. He didn't say, E, I choose you and you are in covenant. No, he didn't say G. He didn't say Yohanan. He didn't say Gwyneth, Avia, Daud. He didn't say, I need you and I can't do it without you. He never told anybody that. Literally never told anybody, I can't do it without you. So why do we have this thought that the Most High can't remove us and we can keep playing with the Creator? As if he's not the Elohim who is merciful, who is long-suffering, but by no means leaving the guilty unpunished. By no means is he mocked, for a man shall reap what he sows. That means, but we do have a moment in time of mercy, his compassion, in order to turn and do what it is that we're supposed to be doing. And I say all that to say this. I'm not wandering in the, well, I can't say I'm not wandering in the wilderness. I will make it to the promised land. So, meaning that I hope everybody wants to make it to the promised land. But if you don't, I have no problem walking around the wilderness for 40 years until your body drops. And I hope everybody else feels the same way, that there's nothing or nobody who will stop them from seeing the salvation of their Creator. Okay. And if you don't feel that way, you're probably going to be one that drops in the wilderness. Because you're going to be the one who allows man or woman or child or job or location to prevent you from doing what the Creator told you to do. And that's a sad reality. Which is why we have to remain a community, so we can make sure that we hold each other accountable. So don't be in your little corner by yourself, for woe unto the man who is by himself. For when he falls, who shall pick him up? When he is cold, who shall give him warmth? It's not me. That's what the script says. So that's it, Israel. Pesach, April 15th, North Carolina, Camp Kirkwood. Hope to see everybody there. It's a feast day. All males are supposed to be present. All males supposed to be present 3 times a year. So no, Avia, that does not include you. Yes, Avia. Shalom, Makot.
Shabbat shalom. You are funny. I was wondering cost. I think Azar and I landed on coming out with you all to North Carolina as opposed to driving further up to Virginia. But what was the cost per person for the cabin at Kirkwood?
Oh, saw your hand.
Don.
Can you please answer her question?
Shabbat shalom, Uncle Bet.
Luckily, wait. Before you do that, Imam Millicent. Okay, well, answer her question. Oh, Imam, I can't hear you if you're talking. Okay, she's not talking, but everything is going to be sent to Imam Millicent. I'll put that information in the chat. But Sar, if you could give the prices and stuff like that, Akeem.
Canada. Shalom, Shabbat shalom, Mr. Cobb. So for the cabins, for the 2 nights, it'd be $75 per person. And for 1 day, it'd be $45. But we expecting to be out there that both days, so it'd be $75 per person. Just get with Saul yourself. Just give your name to yourself if you plan on going to the cabins, and we'll go from there. And we'll give you the cash out information. Yourself will do that, and you can sit in there. Any questions? Oh, also, if you didn't hear last night that for food and supplies, it'll be $40 per family. But like I said, your stuff will get with you all, and we'll get that taken care of. And the $40 we do by April 1st. We're trying to get that by April 1st. The $40, that's for food and supplies. That's per family.
Okay.
Told everybody, Salakali, I was gonna jump. Uncle Bet, what is the cost for one night? For me and Azar, I guess.
45 for one night.
45 for one night per person?
The Remnant also has an Airbnb. That money can also go to Imam Millicent.
The Remnant also has an Airbnb, just in case you don't want to stay in the cabins. So just reach out to Kyle and the board, and they will give you that information, and then monies from that will go to Imam Millicent. Imam Millicent is the financial head of the Remnant. So any monies, any offering, any tithes, which prayerfully everybody gives, because once I get off this recording, let me go ahead and say that now. So pause slightly. Shalom to everybody online whenever this is posted.